Hi everyone, it's Marie back again with another 12 by 12 process video. This one is for Lottie Loves Paper, so it does class as an advertisement. And this one is for our new series of summer sketch challenges, and this is for the first challenge in this series. This is sketch 1, and you saw the sketch just briefly there at the beginning of the video, so you can always pop back and have a little look if you fancy a nosy at it. So I've kind of played around with the sketch a little bit and done my own take on it. So the general idea of the sketch is that there are some horizontal strips of paper, and then there are some vertical strips of paper, and then there are 2 photographs. So I've gone with 2 photographs, but my horizontal strips of paper became these beautiful bits of rainbow here that I fussy cut from a piece of cardstock from Pink Fresh Studios' Let's Stay Home collection, and I've also reordered them. So I've cut them apart, and I've cut out the like peachy colour that was in the middle of them, and then I've reordered them. So I've put the white at the bottom, then the pink, then the light blue, then the dark blue, which is not the way they appear, I don't think, on the paper itself. And there's another colour, like a peachy pink, that I've removed that I just didn't want. It didn't fit with the colours I was going for on this layout. So they don't fit together exactly. But what I do is just leave a slightly larger gap between the lighter blue and the darker blue. And once I get all the embellishments on there, you can't see it anyway. So I've arranged them so that they go off both sides of the paper. So I'm just trimming the edges off now. And I finally got to grips with using my ATG gun, with thanks to Nikki on the design team, who finally told me how to use it without getting big blobs of tape at the end. So very grateful to Nikki. Thank you very much. Now I've put the rainbow across there, and that's like my horizontal element. But I feel like it needs a border. Now I don't want to put a border all the way around, so I decided to do a border just top and side. But then I make a mistake. I think I must have been tired. I make a mistake and I cut way too much paper off. I've cut off half an inch instead of a quarter of an inch from each side, and then I realised that border is going to be absolutely enormous, and I'm just not happy with it. It just doesn't look quite right to me. So I sit and stare at it for a short while, and then have a look through my other papers and try and decide what I'm going to do. I contemplate popping it in the middle. I contemplate leaving a massive border on like that, and I just don't like it. I just don't think it works. So I start pulling out some of my other papers in a minute. Oh, am I going to back my photos first? I think I back my photos. Oh no, I stopped playing with other papers. So I contemplated that yellow, and then I contemplated this kind of scalloped edgy border one as well, but that had the yellows and peaches in that I'd kind of gotten rid of. And then I find this paper, which is the kind of, it's like it's a lovely geometric kind of print. I can't think what they're like, little diamonds. I can't think what they're called. And I decided to use that instead. So what I'm going to do is take I take a full inch off I cut almost to the end there. I don't cut it off completely, and then I do exactly the same again here. So basically I've taken the 2 sides off, so that I've got an inch for the top and an inch for the bottom. I hope that makes sense. So I end up with that small amount of paper, and then I do the same with this blue floral. I feel really sad about doing this because I love the other side of this paper, but I did buy 2 of these, so it's not quite as bad. I still have plenty of that to play with. So I end up with these 2 pieces that I'm then going to attach to the back of the white cardstock. Now I use my I don't use my ATG gun for this. I use my double-sided sticky, so I can just fold the corners over, place the paper on where I want it, because this takes a little bit of measuring. I use my mat for this because I know I need just a quarter inch, and I don't want to make it 12 by 12 yet because I've got the other paper still to add on as well. So you just stick down the corner and then pull out the rest of the tape, and it means you can kind of make those fine adjustments and move things around if you need to, if it's not quite in the right place. So there's that colour gone on, and then I'm going to do exactly the same with the darker blue, just pulling those 2 corners up, positioning it down where I want it, and then pressing down at the corner and then pulling out the 2 pieces of tape when I'm happy. I have made the mistake in the past of pulling all the tape off all at once, try and stick it down, it going wonky, and then it just being a bit of a disaster. Right, so I'm going to map my photographs now onto some of the waste not, want not, I suppose this is, onto the cardstock piece that came in the puffy stickers, I think, or in the ephemera pack. It's one of those. It's got a really light bluey grey geometric design on it, like diamonds again. And I always find that with pink fresh papers, that the pieces of cardstock that come in the packs with the letters and the alphas and the ephemera are usually patterned as well, so I do usually try and use them, and they worked well, I thought, just for the back of the photos. I didn't want to put loads of matting behind the photos because I know I'm going to use lots of ephemera, and I've got some of those cut apart sheets there, as you can see. I did a live a couple of on Saturday a few days ago, and I used part of the cut apart sheet then, so whilst I was kind of in the middle of cutting it apart, I cut them all up, and then I've got them all in a little tray ready to use, and those three fit perfectly with the colour scheme from the rainbow. The photos I've chosen are of me and my son, and we have just been baking. I think we've done lots and lots of baking during lockdown, and this was us yet again licking the spoon, which we only do when we make things that don't have like raw egg or stuff in them, so it doesn't happen all the time. So I just got a really fun photograph of us both doing it. I'm sure we'd made something chocolatey at the time or something like that. And the photos themselves I've done in colour. I usually do black and white photos, but I've done them in colour because the photos, the colours themselves are quite neutral and fit perfectly with the colours I was going to use anyway. There's no like standout colours on there, so that fits really nicely. So now what I'm doing is I'm going through, I've got the cardstock stickers, I've got the puffy stickers, and I've got the ephemera pack, and I'm just playing around now with all the different pieces. I'm trying to pull out different ones, trying to decide what I'm going to include. I knew I wanted that collection of 3 puffy hearts because they're just gorgeous. I wanted the title Homemade Memories. I was going to use this on the last layout, but in the end I made a title out of the alphas, but I did want to use the alphas on here because the alphas are that lovely blue colour, and I wanted to kind of have them pop out. But where I wanted the title and trying to follow with the sketch, that's kind of where the title is on the sketch. It's underneath the photographs, so I wanted to kind of stick to that. And you'll see that my vertical element of the strips of paper has come from kind of piecing together all those different bits of the cut apart sheets with the same colours on again as the rainbow. So again, just playing around now with random pieces of ephemera, trying to decide what to tuck in, because I know I need a little bit. I need a little bit more. I'm just not quite sure where it's going to go, and I'm aiming for that visual triangle to try and draw your eye into the photograph. I watched a video a couple of weeks ago of one of my scrappy friends, Laura Rumble, and she did. She explained the visual triangle perfectly, and she said it kind of needs to go round the photograph, the triangle, to draw your eye into the photo. And I'd never considered that before, which is exactly right. And that's why some of my visual triangles don't work. So I'm trying on this particular layout to get the 3 little clusters in the right place so that it draws your eye into the photograph. Doing much better with my ATG. Go on, makes things so much quicker. Finally got script with it, yay. So I am just popping extra bits of glue, bits of tape now on the back of all the different elements. Now I've decided where they're definitely going. There's foam on the back of the photographs, and then I do choose some other bits and pieces to prop up on foam as well. That little frame there that I'm going to stick at the bottom, just took the corner out of so I can use that on another layout, because I'm going to just tuck that under there. And then that little piece of ephemera, I'm going to just prop up again on a little bit of foam, just to give that a bit of depth down in that corner. I always go around and snip off those little kind of fuzzy bits on the edges. They do annoy me slightly. Now this little piece, these are the houses. I love these little houses, but they had a little bit of green on, and there's no other green on the layout, so I decided to take another couple of pieces of ephemera, which I was going to layer on top of them anyway, and just cover up that house, but I've got a little bit left, so I just take my scissors and kind of chop off that little greenhouse to get rid of that element of green. Just didn't seem to quite fit. Because this is certainly not monochromatic, but I have definitely stuck to a specific colour scheme. So white, that dark blue, that lighter kind of bluey green, and the pinky colour as well. And I love those little houses. So they're just tucked in nicely. That's the third part of my visual triangle. I'm now going to mess about for quite a while, so I apologise for this, with the title because it's going to overlap the photograph, so I need to put foam in certain places so that it's propped up, because the photograph is propped up, but it doesn't all need foam because it's overlapping the photo. So I just need to be really careful with where the foam is actually going. And there we go, a little baking glove being tucked in behind that photograph there. And then I do peel that cardstock sticker off from the top, and I pop some foam on that as well, because I felt that there was no dimension towards the top of the page. And this is me pretty much done. I am going to do some journaling on that little family memories tag cut apart that's sticking out at the top there, and I do just go back through my sticker sheet again and add a couple of stickers to the top of that photograph that again fit with the colour schemes. I've got dreaming big, I think that little pink one says do what you love or something like that, and then some little houses right at the very top, and then a little housey tag. Where does that, yeah, I thought I'd put that at the top, that goes near the little home tag at the top. I do contemplate that circle, but there's no other circular elements on the page, so I decide not to. Nothing else I'm going to fit on, except for some enamel dots. I love enamel dots. I don't have enough enamel dots. It's something I didn't used to buy with collections, and now I buy it every single time. And now I'm going to just take my pen, do my little bit of journaling. I do spell a word wrong and have to play about with trying to get it to fit in. And then I think actually there's quite a lot of white space there, so I decided to just take a little bit of dark blue watercolour I cover the photograph over with a bit of plastic and just do a few splatters in that white space just to break it up and soften the edges just ever so slightly. And I'm really happy with how that's looking. And that's about it. Thank you ever so much for watching. Oh, I do mix up some pink, but I decided not to use it in the end. Thank you ever so much for watching. I'm really pleased with how this turned out. So if you keep watching now, you'll see lots of lovely close-ups of the layout. And we really hope to see you over in the Lottie Loves Paper group, taking part in some of the summer sketches that will be coming up. So this is just the first one. And we hope to see you there, and can't wait to see what you make. Bye for now.